KCN में आपका स्वागत है। मैं किंग हमीद।
Secretary, Mrs. Farheen, who already said that she knows better than me, than all of you, incidentally to introduce is my wife also. The chief organizer of the event, Dr. Nasima Akhtar, all the dignitaries who have assembled over here, let me not take long. Just now the master of ceremonies said, see why we have initiated this topic, the seminar of language of why we have to improve as medium of instruction. I'm not going to highlight because the right person will talk right thing. But before I go, my main aspect here is to introduce Dr.Syed Akhil Ahmed Sahib. See, what I have done is, I have taken down all of your mobile numbers and his biodata run into 4 PDF pages. And believe me, to read the 4 PDF pages takes minimum of 20 to 25 minutes. I can't spare that time. So I will be sending it to you all. Because my father's first statement was, what you listen from one ear automatically gets away from the other ear. So whatever Dr. Syed Akhil Ahmed Sahib achieved in life, you can read at your own leisure. Absorb it, saturate it, and most important, dear student, dear teacher, emulate him. An example of what a person can achieve. This is what is an exemplary figure. Dr. Syed Akhil Ahmed Sahib, I'm not proud of you. I'm proud of your mother for bringing a son like you. Can you believe it? His mother was the first Muslim lady of being 2 double graduates. This is what is the role of a woman, to bring sons like him. Dr. Syed Akhil Ahmed, who is the Vice Chancellor, who is a pioneer in his field. If I sit down with him, I just fold my hand and try to absorb. It's like radiation coming towards you. The chemical aspect, the molecule gets absorbed. This is his charm. This is his charisma. All of you, like I said, go home, read the 4 PDF pages. See, we have our esteemed guest, Dr. Haji Sahib, who will be delivering all keynote addresses. Of course, he is another gigantic personality. And why all these things have happened? All these things have happened because of following a traditional footstep. And who? I'm trying to emulate my father. But I know, even if I can come up to 10% of his caliber, 10% of his qualities, I feel my vision has been fulfilled. So with much ado or nothing, I invite Dr. Syed Akhil Ahmed Sahib to come over.
My reverence to the great personality, Professor B. Sheikh Ali, that his personality could be summed up in just 2 sentences: simplicity personified, intellectualism objectified. With this preamble, I will start my speech. Distinguished President of this esteemed institution, Dr. Zakir Hussain Sahab, Chief and guest of the honor for this seminar, Dr. Khizr Sahab, Khizr Azad Sahab, Qazi Azad Sahab. 1 minute. Vice President Dr. Nasir Abbas Sahab, distinguished Secretary of this institution, Mrs. Farheen Hussain, Mrs. Nafis Ahmed, the other dignitaries on the dais, special invitees, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. My association with the Professor B. Sheikh Ali is only 50 years. I first met him as a student in 1972, and when I got a lecturer course at the age of 20 years in the university, when I went to his home, he was there in the professor's quarters. And he was so delighted to see me as a lecturer in the chemistry department, because I was the first one Muslim lecturer in the history of Mysore University to be the lecturer in the postgraduate department. And incidentally, my association with all the great personalities, the age gap is minimum 20 to 30 years. Be Professor B. Sheikh Ali Sahab, be Professor Ali Janab Aziz Said Sahab, then Advocate Ghaffar Khan Sahab, all the people, Yamir Khader Sahab, K. Khader Sahab, all the Gauri Sahab, all this, my gap is minimum of 20 to 30 years, and they used to call me as my friend. I continued that. And that is a great blessing, that I have been moving always with the great personalities, so that the great thoughts were flowing like a Ganga and Jamuna, and we used to have discussions. Hardly any other topic Professor B. Sheikh Ali Sahab has not discussed with me, be the initiation of this particular trust. We talk about the Mansura of the Sultan Patana, various aspects he used to discuss with me, and used to always appreciate my suggestions. I remember him, all my reverence to him. May his soul rest in peace. Al-Mamudiyya. Al-Mansura is in Azad. One aspect of the Professor B. Sheikh Ali is, if he used to take a responsibility, he used to put heart and soul in it. He had retired after just serving the two universities. One was in Mangalore University, another is Goa University, both as a founder, vice chancellor, and did a great job, no doubt about it. And he has established his credibility to an extent that even the imprints, you can see it even today. Hardly there is one person, even the worst of his enemy, which he had not, will also appreciate Professor B. Sheikh Ali's personality. Well, in this context, I stayed back a little because I was in the science, not in the arts subjects, but at the same time in the social service. There was a certain disturbance which I could not make it as Professor B. Sheikh Ali Sahab, and it reminds me of a couplet. था उन्हें भी मेरी तरह जुनून, था उन्हें भी मेरी तरह जुनून, तो उनमें और मुझ में ये फर्क क्यों? था उन्हें भी मेरी तरह जुनून, तो उनमें और मुझ में ये फर्क क्यों? मैं गिरफ्त गम से न बच सका, वो हुदूद गम से निकल गए. मैं गिरफ्त गम से न बच सका, वो हुदूद गम से निकल गए. And this is exactly what has happened, that he has established. I remember those days that he used to travel from Saraswatipuram to Hosya Nagar in a Luna as a backseater. It is on my insistence. He said, you should not travel. You should not afford to fall down at this age. He stopped coming on a Luna. That was his personality. इस सादगी पे कौन न मुरझाए, ऐ क़तील करते हैं क़त्ल और हाथ में तलवार भी नहीं. This is the personality of the Professor B. Sheikh Ali Sahab. Well, with this small background, I would like to just continue starting, because I have to inaugurate the seminar, and naturally I'll have to take in all minor aspects. The chapter 55 in the whole of the Quran, there are 114 chapters, and 55th chapter, the few verses were recited in today's program, and that was Surah Ar-Rahman. He was expecting that there should have been a translation, and there was no translation. So I will just make it more comfortable to some of my non-Muslims brothers and sisters who are here, and at the same time some of the important aspect of it. The unique feature of Ar-Rahman is that the first 4 ayats are very, very important, and it speaks of the best things in this world. Ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahman is the best name in all Asma-ya Husna of 99 names. Ar-Rahman, the most compassionate. This is the best name among all the Asma-ya Husna of Allah Barak Ta'ala. And again, Allama al-Quran, the best book, which consists of 114 chapters, 6,666 verses, and that is a chapter that is a book of guidance, and that is Quranul Hakim, book of wisdom. It is there and it will remain there, and the challenge that has been taken place, whether you are able to just translate or write one verse of it, the challenge has not been accepted for over 1,450 years, and it will continue to be, and nobody can challenge it till Qiyamah. That is about the Quran. And Quran itself, in the Quran itself, it speaks about لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله وتلك الأمثال نضرب للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. Beside the word يتفكرون, I'll go more into the detail. I will just discuss. When we revealed this book on the mountains started shivering. Please understand, the Quran talks about a metaphor here. The metaphor is the mountains are the non-living things. You cannot expect them to shiver, but it is the mighty mountains which could not withstand this power of knowledge, the Quran. It is ultimately was given to the human being or to the insan, khalaq al-insan. So this is the best book that was given, and it is for this reason the title has been given of the Ashraful Makhluqat, the best of all creations, because you have taken the responsibility of that knowledge, and the knowledge which is an embodiment of all aspects of the life till Qiyamah in just 6,666 verses. Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran, Khalaq al-Insan. When you talk of the Khalaq al-Insan, it is the best of all creation, Ashraful Makhluqat, and the Quran speaks about this. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. The best of all creations is human beings. Well, ultimately we will just come, Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran, Khalaq al-Insan, Allamahu al-Bayan, the power of speech which makes you a totally distinct, totally different when compared to all other human creatures that have been created on this earth. So these are the 4 characteristics, and that's why if you want to say, and if you want to thank God, we recite the chapter 55 many a times for a simple reason. You will see that there is one verse which repeatedly comes in. That means to say you have to be always grateful to the God for every action of yours. And this is about the little of the background which I have given about Ar-Rahman, because I have not come here, but since it was in important verses that were recited here, and I thought there was no English translation, so I should take this responsibility of making known to this august audience. And well, the second aspect, if you want to talk about the today's inauguration of the seminar, there is a multiple themes, starting from the mother tongue, talking of the research, talking of the various facets that we take into consideration. Then it will be a great or an Herculean.
It's a very important day for all of us, because we have organized a seminar. The topic of the seminar is language as a medium of instruction and improvement. So we have 2 distinguished speakers. One is Dr.Syed Akhil Ahmed, who has come from America. He is actually a very well-versed teacher as well as a physician. Along with him, we have our Dr.Syed Akhil Ahmed Sahab, Vice Chancellor. He has contributed a lot in his field, and may I introduce Dr. Syed Sahab to the president.
It was my pleasure to come to Sultan Shaheed Trust and the institutions, and I'm very happy. It's a nice combination of institution along with the B.Ed college, where the teachers are made, and the high school is there, and so I was interested in particularly in mother tongue and science. Being a physician, I know neuroscience of learning and teaching, so I gave a little talk on that, and hopefully it helped everybody, and the teachers will be too. And unfortunately, they are not here. Oh, to them, yeah, definitely I will tell all the studies, including UNESCO's studies and even national education policy, highly recommend, not only highly recommends, it's obligatory for them to teach their kids in mother tongue according to national education policy, at least up to 5th grade, at least. So recommended up to high school, 12th grade, but at least up to 5th grade. He was, great educationist and great teacher. He had full of information. Particularly, he was a great historian. And I spoke to him, and of course, that is his field. And he has mastered over. He is a multilingual person. He was a multilingual, and he knew Urdu is, of course, mother tongue, but he knew English, even Sanskrit he knew, and Persian, and the Kannada, of course. You are in the. So he was a multilingual, and multilingual brains are better than monolingual brains than bilingual brains. Even in his 90s, his brain was so sharp because of this multilinguality. I'm just giving a scientific reason, but he was a great. Dr. Zakir Hussain Saab is following his father's tradition and trying to promote that culture of education among the community, particularly in low socio-economic areas here. So I really congratulate. It's a very difficult task. It's not easy, and parents don't want to send their kids, and how to bring them to school. And most of them are manual workers, and they don't care about. And if the child labor is there, and to bring them to the school and putting a school in that area is a great achievement, and I'm really congratulations to you for all those efforts.
See, my simple message to the whole of the community is that education only can save them from all ill-treatment and also from bulldozing the whole community in growth. So not only you will have to have an education, you have to have higher education, not only the higher education, but you will have to have a research. When you talk of the research, you are producing the knowledge. When you are talking of the teaching, you are dissipating the knowledge. Muslims have to contribute more for the generation or the creation of the knowledge. Today in 21st century, it happens to be a knowledge-driven economy, wherein the knowledge is used as an asset, as a tool, and as a promoter. So naturally, in the era of 21st century, where knowledge capitalism is coming in a big way, it is very unfortunate that the Muslims are in the backseat. Thanks to the GCC countries, now they are giving a lot of importance, particularly for producing knowledge. That means to say a lot of importance to the research. Unless and until we do not contribute to this research aspect, it is not possible that we can just rub shoulders with any other community with confidence, clarity, and courage. And hence, I appeal to all the members, particularly to Dr. Zakir Hussain Saab. Dr. Sheikh Ali Saab was the one which I told in my speech that I have been interacting him for the past 50 years. We were very much worried about the research. But he was also of the opinion, unless and until you do not lay a solid foundation in the bottom, and the whole societal structure should be pyramidal, it is not possible we can achieve it. And now, the greater responsibility of Dr. Zakir Hussain Saab, for a simple reason, Sheikh Ali Sahab has laid a solid foundation in the bottom for the pre-nursery, nursery, then you will have primary, and then again you are coming for even education at a graduation. Now he has to just go far. Shaheed परवाज़ है कम तेरा तेरे सामने आसमां और भी. So that is the message to Dr. Hussain. I am sure he can do it and he can have all his capabilities, and at the same time he has inherited from the Dr. Syed Akhil Ahmed what has to be done. This is my simple message, very clear message to the whole of the community. Then you will have to think of only research and research. तो अगर ऊपर लाना है हमारे कौम की बका में, जहाँ पे आप इज्जत से आप दूसरे कौमों के साथ आप करना चाह रहे हैं और दूसरे कौमों के साथ कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर चलना है, तो आपको सिर्फ पढ़ना ही नहीं है, अच्छा पढ़ना है, अच्छा पढ़ना ही नहीं है, क्वालिटी का पढ़ना है, क्वालिटी से भी ज्यादा सबसे ज्यादा रिसर्च. इसीलिए हमारे वालिदा के नाम से मैंने नूर एजुकेशन रिसर्च फाउंडेशन किया है, क्योंकि मैं कॉलेज से ज्यादा मैं रिसर्च के ऊपर ज्यादा तरजीह दे रहा हूँ. इसीलिए मैं और शेख अली साहब अब नहीं 20-25 साल तक हमने रिसर्च 1988 में हमने ये सोचा था कि यूनिवर्सिटी स्टार्ट करें. अब यूनिवर्सिटी का वो हो नहीं सका, कोई और असबाब थे, मगर 88 और अब 40 साल गुजर गए, एक यूनिवर्सिटी मुसलमानों की नहीं है. दो हैं, जो 208 में सबसे पहले इनका हुआ, हम सा हमारे इनका का जिसका मैं फाउंडर रहा. अब हम लोकल है उत्तर प्रदेश में, वो है क्या दो हैं, वहाँ पे तो मसाइल बहुत सारे हैं. अब रहा अब्दुल रहमान साहब जो इसमें हैं, अब रेसिडेंसी यूनिवर्सिटी भी आ रही है, 2 या 3 है, और ऑफ कोर्स विप्रो वालों की है. मैं वो उनको खास मुसलमानों की नहीं कहता, क्योंकि वो तो जनरल लोगों के लिए कहता है. मेरा ये अहम जो मसला है ये कि मुसलमानों को आगे चलकर पढ़ना है. आजकल जो ये हो रहा है, आजकल की जो भी पॉलिसीज हो रहे हैं, वो चाह रहे हैं कि अभी आप यूसी से ज्यादा ना करें और सिर्फ अगर ज्यादा से ज्यादा एक स्किल हुनर सीख लें और आप खिदमत करते रहेंगे. आपको रिसर्च करना और नई नॉलेज, नया इल्म ये पैदा करने का जो हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के ज़माने में हुआ, वो उस करने के लिए नहीं दे रहे. इसीलिए हम जद्दोजहद करना पड़ता है, हमको कोशिश करनी पड़ती है. और सारे दानिशमंदों को मेरी बहुत दीवाना आजीजाना और गुजारिश भी है कि भी सब मिलकर ये करें कि ज्यादातर तवज्जो रिसर्च की. बहुत सारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन आ रहे हैं जो प्राइमरी एजुकेशन के लिए, मिडिल एजुकेशन के लिए और हाई स्कूल, फिर उसके बाद कॉलेज के लिए, तो बहुत सारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन और बहुत कम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो कोई भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन नहीं है जो रिसर्च की तरफ तवज्जो देना चाहता है. बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है, वो आसान भी नहीं है. जो उनका तो पिरामिड बना के चले गए, माशाअल्लाह, अल्लाह उन्हें जन्नत फिरदौस अता करें और मग़फ़िरत करें. मगर ये चीज आप जाकिर हुसैन साहब उसे और आगे जाना है और आगे चलना है. जब तक आगे नहीं चलते कुछ नहीं होता. और एक चीज आपको कह देता हूँ कि मीडियोक्रेसी इज नॉट द सॉल्यूशन. मीडियोक्रेसी विल क्रिएट प्रॉब्लम्स. मीडियोक्रेसी मतलब यू हैव टू बी द बेस्ट. इसके लिए आपको मैं कुरान का भी हवाला देता हूँ कि कुंतुम मुख्तलिफ नास, वो जो है उसके लिए आपको मैं कह देता हूँ कि कुंतुम मुख्तलिफ नास सिर्फ जमातों के लिए कहने के लिए नहीं. आप ऐसे कौन हो जो आप दूसरों को करना चाहते हैं. उनको मुख्तलिफ नास से काम इसमें कॉन्फिडेंस ही रहो. मगर मैं कहता हूँ कि यू आर द बेस्ट. इसलिए आप बेस्ट हैं कि कोई किताब ऐसी नहीं है जिसमें इल्म का जिक्र इतना हुआ है. पहले जो कौम जो पहले जो सहाबा किराम थे, जो 60 साल में जो 2/3 जो दुनिया हासिल कर सकें, वो हम क्यों नहीं कर रहे? इसलिए कि हम कुरान से दूर हैं, कुरान को नहीं समझ रहे, कुरान को फॉलो नहीं कर रहे. अब जब कुरान को फॉलो करें तो इंशाल्लाह सब कुछ हो जाएगा. जब तक ये हमारी जिम्मेदारी है. ये कह रहे थे कि टीचर के भी हमारे अज़द साहब भी वही कह रहे थे, एक टीचर इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल. देखिए 2 कम्युनिटीज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. पूरे कोई एक मुल्क को अगर बर्बाद करना है तो बॉम्ब डालने की कोई जरूरत नहीं. 2 जो तबके हैं, एक टीचर्स का और एक डॉक्टर्स का, इनको आप करप्ट कर दीजिए, बस पूरी कौम बर्बाद हो. ये इसलिए कि भी आजकल टीचर्स ने करप्शन मतलब फाइनेंशियल करप्शन, आइडियोलॉजिकल करप्शन हो गया, एथिकल करप्शन हो गया, मॉरल करप्शन आ गया. इसलिए हमारी कौम ऊपर नहीं आ रही. तो नेचुरली जो एक टीचर ऐसा है कि टीचर मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि उसके पास तो इतना पावर है. मैं कभी भी ओरिएंटेशन जो कोर्सेस होते थे उसमें कभी हर वक्त कहता कि भी मैं टीचर हूँ, एक कोई भी एक स्टूडेंट दीजिए, अच्छा एक बहुत बड़ा चालाक स्टूडेंट, मैं उसका ऐसा माइंड चेंज कर सकता हूँ कि 6 महीने में वो सुसाइड करेगा, क्योंकि उसे मैं बता दूंगा कि तू लायक नहीं है जीने की. मगर एक टीचर ये भी कर सकता है, एक औसतन एक स्टूडेंट उसे लेकर उसे उतना राग़िब करके उसे ये कहने के कि वो भी कुछ कर सकता है. एक टीचरों को जिम्मेदारी. ये टीचर उन्हीं पे जिम्मेदारी है। इसीलिए आपको 1986 का अगर आपको एजुकेशन पॉलिसी अगर पढ़े, उसका जो प्रियाम्बल है, डेस्टिनीज ऑफ नेशंस आर मेड इन ए क्लासरूम, आर्किटेक्ट ऑफ दिस डेस्टिनी मेकर इज ए टीचर। टीचरों को इसलिए ट्रेनिंग द टीचर, दैट्स व्हाई जो B.Ed का जो हमने शेख अली साहब हजरत मरहूम से जो हम गिफ्ट करते मैं बोला कि वो ट्रेनिंग द टीचर्स, वो विप्रो वालों का जो था उस वक्त हम डिस्कस किया।
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೇ, ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಲಯನ್ಸ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ನಾಸೀರ್ ಅಬ್ಬಾಸ್ ಅವರಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಮೌಲಾನಾ ಆಜಾದ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತಿರುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಿನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದೆರಡು ಮಾತನಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಆಹ್ವಾನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸರ್, ನೀವು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಕ್ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀರಿ? ಮೌಲಾನಾ ಆಜಾದ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ USA ಇಂದ ಬಂದಿರೋ ಡೆಲಿಗೇಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಇವತ್ತು ಬಂದು ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮನವರಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೀವೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ ಸರ್?
ಈ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಒಂದು 40 ವರ್ಷದ ಮುಂಚೆ ಒಂದು ಹುಟ್ಟುಹಬ್ಬದ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಏನಾದರೂ ಬರೀ ತಿಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗೋದಲ್ಲ, ಏನಾದರೂ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇವತ್ತೊಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಿ ಇವತ್ತೊಂದು ಹೆಮ್ಮರವಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೆದಿದೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಈಗ ಅವರು ಹೊಸ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟಿಪ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇದನ್ನ ಇನ್ನೂ ಹೆಮ್ಮರವಾಗಿ ಶೇಖ್ ಅಲಿ ಸಾಹೇಬ್ರ ಹೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಬೆಳೆಸೋಣ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅವರು ಮಗನೂ ಈಸ್ ಪೀಡಿಯಾಟ್ರಿಷನ್. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಮಾವಿನ ಬೀಜ ಹಾಕಿದರೆ ಮಾವು ಹುಟ್ಟೋದೇ ಹೊರತು ಬೇವು ಹುಟ್ಟೋಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಅವ್ರ ಬೇಸ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ಇದು ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಇದನ್ನ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇದಿದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಆದಿದ್ದ ಸಹಾಯ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ಸರ್, ಇದು ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿವಸಗಳ ಕಾಲ ನಡೆಯುವಂತ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ, ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಿಂದ ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಲಭಿಸುತ್ತದೆ? ನೀವು ಯಾರಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ?
ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಟೀಚರ್ಸು ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗಲೇ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆರ್ಟಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆನ್ಸಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಹಳೆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಯ್ತು ಆ 1+1 2 1+1 2 ಹೆಂಗಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಈಗ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು H2O ನೀರಾಗಿ ಇದಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ. ಮಳೆ ಬರೋದೇ H2O, H+O+2 ಇಂದ ಮಳೆ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಆ ಟೈಪ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕಲಿಸ್ಬೇಕು.
ಬಹಳ ಸಂತೋಷ ಸರ್. ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ತಾರೀಕು 18 ಮತ್ತು 19 ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ದಿನ ಬುಧವಾರ ಮತ್ತು ಗುರುವಾರ 2 ದಿವಸ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಅಂತಿಮವಾಗಿ ಏನೇನು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್? ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇವಾಗ ನಾವೀಗ ಪ್ರಸಾರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ನಾಳೆಗೋಸ್ಕರ, ನಾಳೆ ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ನೀವು ಏನಂತ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ?
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಆದಷ್ಟು ಈಗ ನ್ಯೂ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಆ ಟೈಪ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ನಾವು ಇದು ಮಾಡಿ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಳಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ಬಹಳ